Hi everyone, it's Cristy. I am back to talk to you a little bit more about getting your fabrics prepared for your double wedding ring using the piec-lique technique. In this portion, I'll be talking about cutting your solid arches. In a previous video, I demonstrated a little bit of cutting for pieced arches using my fat quarter pack of Bungalow by Joel Dewberry. And since then, I played around a little bit with a design that I thought I might do and make a little double wedding ring with it. And I want to mix up using pieced arches and solid arches. So as I'm demonstrating, you'll get to see both, and hopefully I won't end up with a UFO on my hands. I'm wanting to finish this up now along with you. So I went ahead and labeled each of my arches A's and B's, as I talked about in a previous video. So these solid colors are going to be a solid arch. This squiggly line I'm going to piece. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. So I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. But I labeled it so I'll know which ones I'm piecing and which ones are going to be solids. So here you can see on this B arch, everything from cornerstone to cornerstone is going to be pieced, and the inside short arch is solid. And then when I move over to another ring over here, this portion of an arch is a B arch, and including the cornerstone, it's going to be completely solid. So I actually won't be piecing any cornerstones on that one, but the inside of the arch is going to be pieced. So I'm going to be cutting solid arches for this and piecing some arches for it, and then showing how everything goes together that way. You can do this in any manner you like, all solids, all pieced, or mix it up a little bit. I'm also going to mix up using some prints for backgrounds and solids for backgrounds. Hopefully it won't be a hodgepodge, and it will actually look pretty striking. I'm looking forward to it. So I've already cut some of the pieced pieces for my arches, and next up I'm going to show cutting some solid arches. For my solid arches, I put together a little collection of solids that I had handy that go with the colors in the Joel Dewberry Bungalow line. I have some of that plum purpley colorway. So I have 5 of each of those, or one of each of 5 different colors. And when I'm going to cut my arches, because I planned ahead, I have an idea of which arches need to be A's and which need to be B's, so I can cut a full arch solid or a short arch in a solid color and make sure I get the right one. So for B, I have a pink, a turquoise, a green, another turquoise, a purple, and another pink. So I have that all stacked and ready to go, so I can actually cut those all at once. So I'll take my B arch, which is all prepped and ready for turning, and place it on your fabric. For these arches, grain line is not a huge concern, and you actually don't need to worry about it at all. We will be stabilizing everything as we go with our piec-lique technique. So find the best fit for your piece in your fabric, whether it be this way, but for me, unfortunately, it's not. So I'm going to kind of get it snug in that area. You can rotary around it or use your scissors. For this, I like to just use my scissors. And again, same with those smaller pieces, a finger width all the way around. What I also like to do, because we've used freezer paper for these templates, you can actually press this right to your fabric so it doesn't move around while you're cutting. So now it's stuck in place, and as I'm cutting, I don't have to hold my template in place, which is really nice. So just cut out your solid arches with that finger width or 5/8 all the way around. And as I mentioned before, you don't have to be extremely precise with this. Piec-lique can be very forgiving, and we'll be trimming away any excess similar to paper piecing excess as we go. So now I have some of my arches, my solid B arches ready to go. And for my A arches, I would count those out for the solids and cut out exactly the same way, and I can nest it if I'd like. Maybe come over here, set it in here, and just go ahead, press this in place so it doesn't shift around, and cut around, leaving that finger width distance in between for your seam allowance. And then you'll have your arches ready to go. If you count out ahead of time, you can get these all placed and even play around with the color and your value and how you'd like it all to go. Now also on here, as I'm planning things out, I can see exactly how many melons and how many center units I need of each color. You can cut those out ahead of time as well. So if I want to go ahead and cut my melons, I'll need 13 melon wedges and 4 center pieces. And for whatever colors those are going to be, again, this is printed on freezer paper. You can place it considering grain line on this one. So your letter in the center can be your grain line guide to make sure you go up and down. And for these, I like to have as little stretch as possible. So I would go and cut these the length of the fabric instead of on the width. It's pretty common for cutting instructions to say the width of the fabric. I prefer the length of the fabric on pieces that are long because there's less stretch. So when I cut this out, I'll find a nice place where I can just nest it. Press it in place because it's on freezer paper. Line up your grain lines. Press that in place. You can use your rotary or scissors, whichever you prefer. And again, leave that finger width space all the way around. And if they're not all exactly the same, that is okay. You'll see how, as we go, we'll get everything all trimmed up and looking beautiful in the end. So I have all my melon wedges ready. And then for my center, that large piece, you'll do the same exact thing. Make sure that this piece gets lined up on the grain line. Because it is symmetrical, it's exactly the same, whether you fold it on the length or the width. Just make sure you line up the grain to go length and or width, but not on point. We don't want biases to mess up our curves here. So make sure when you cut this piece out that you cut it on grain, up and down, length or width. This one is not going to make a difference. That should help you get going on your fabric preparation and getting things cut out and ready to play with and do some placement. And if you have a design wall or just get to play with it on a table or a floor, you'll be able to play around with it and make your final decisions on your color placements. Please keep on sticking with me. I hope that you're enjoying this part of the process. Please share your pictures on our Flickr group, the Double Wedding Ring Quilt Along. I'm also over on Instagram. There is a Double Wedding Ring hashtag on Instagram and Twitter. It's hashtag DWRQAL. You can always comment on my blog and leave a comment here as well. I just cannot wait to see what you all create. And next up, we get to do some piecing and start getting these things put together. Again, thanks for sticking with me through this whole introductory part of the piec-lique process. once you get past this, you're going to be able to do it over and over again and just keep getting better and better. Thanks again. Bye-bye.